Good morning, AP Bio. Welcome back after your Thanksgiving break. Did I call you AP Bio? Sorry, biology. I have my wonderful biology class. Okay, I want everybody right now to stand up. I want you to stand up wherever you are. I want you to reach. Come on. Come on. Okay. Rotate your arms without hitting anything. Rotate your arms. Come on. Come on. You guys are all sluggish. You had too much turkey. All that carbs that loaded you up. Now you're not used to being up in the morning. I know. I can tell you're not chatting to us like you usually are.
I know.
Good. And we're not disappointed, but we know what's going on. So we want to make sure you get your blood moving. Pick your knees up. Pick your knees up. God, we can't see you. Come on. I'm making a fool of myself here. You don't have to worry. I can't see you. All right. That's it. See, Mr. Bouchard will do it for me. There we go. Wave your hands in the air like you just don't care. Come on, let's go.
Well, it felt good to stretch that out a little. Thank you, Mr. Rock.
Roll your shoulders a little bit. Gently turn your head back and forth. I mean it, guys. This is the kind of thing we probably should do every morning. All right. Okay, so welcome back. Welcome back to school. What we're going to do is we're going to have you many of you were still finishing your test last class or doing your retake or doing something important like that, and if that was happening, that's fine. But there were some of you that went on last class to do a paradox on, that should not say microscope structure and function, I'm sorry. That should say cell membrane structure. That's a typo. So what we're going to do is if you missed the cell membrane pear deck, not the pear deck on microscope structure. That's a typo. I'm going to you come into my room, the main room, or actually, can I just stay here, Mr. Bouchard?
Yep.
Just stay here. Stay right here, and we're going to do a, see, I'm just as tired as you are. We're going to do a pear deck together. It's important that you join the pear deck and that you try and you do the best you can, because I can see your names pop up, and you're getting graded for it. So you don't have to get perfect answers, but I want you to try. And you get 10 out of 10 for trying, okay? So I want you to join the pear deck if you haven't done it already. Many of you have done it already. You know you've already done it. So you're going to go into Mr. Bouchard's room, and he's going to play a Kahoot on cell membranes with you, okay? So if you haven't done the pear deck, the one with the slides where you have to join in and try to answer the questions, you stay with me right here. Okay, I can actually tell you if you need to go. How about if I tell you who can go with Mr. Bouchard? Okay.
Ooh, sounds
You
good.
can go with Mr. Bouchard, and if I don't call your name, you need to stay with me. Okay. Okay. So Ramy, you can go. Jason Babalatis, Landy Buzzy, you can go. Tabassum Charlie, you can go. Daniel Delay, Andrew Garcia Castillejos can go. Pedro Gute can go. Cora Johns can go. Jackson Joseph may go. Ethan Lee, you may go. Sarah Taylor, you may go. Zishan Zhang, you may go. Camila Diaz, you may go. And Evan Ta, you may go. Okay, to Mr. Bouchard's breakout room to play a Kahoot. You guys, if I just read your names, you're good to go. Go ahead. The rest of you need to stay here with me. We're going to do a Kahoot together. Okay.
Ramy, we did do the pear deck last class. Oh boy. Are we not listening to what we said, Ramy?
I understand it's early. Do you need, Ramy, you can go. You can do the Kahoot. You're good. Okay? Everybody else, if I didn't call your name, you need to stay right here. It's okay, Ramy. Everybody's brain has stopped working. We understand. It's okay. I'm only on my first cup of coffee here, so I'm very, very understanding right now. No problem. Okay. So I'm going to switch my screen over to the pear deck, and you guys are going to be able to join in just a minute. Hold on. Let's go over there and open that up. Okay, here we go. Even the computer is a little sluggish this morning. Oh my gosh. Okay, here it is. All right. So I'm going to put the pear deck join on the screen. And you can do that in just a second, There we go. Okay, so you should be able to type joinpd.com, and then when you get your screen for a join code, it's YXYQJW. Okay, so you got to start with joinpd.com. You type that in, and then when your screen comes up, you type in YXYQJW to join our presentation. All you have to do is join and participate, and try, drag the dot, make answers, type answers if you think of some. I can hear Mr. Bouchard doing the Kahoot across the hall. Okay. Five. Okay, there's a lot more than 5 of you that need to do this, so make sure you're in with me here. Okay. Okay, got most of you. All right. Good deal. Remember, if you don't join in, you get a 0 on this. If you're here, you need to join this. So please join it. Not asking for much here. Keep going, guys. It's not all of you. All right. Right. Okay, so the cell membrane, structure and function. The cell membrane is also called the plasma membrane. So it's very, very thin, 5 nanometers thick, but you can just barely make it out under the microscope slide. All right, every living cell has a cell membrane. Animals, plants, fungi, protistans, and bacteria, they all have cell membranes. Some also have a cell wall. There's always a lot of confusion about this, that there always is a cell membrane that is the boundary of the cell, but outside of the cell membrane, sometimes in some types of cells, you find this thick protective cell wall. So let's talk about that, because which of the following have both cell membranes and cell walls, do you think? Pick an option. Yeah, the head's like water, the tail is like, yep. Okay, sorry guys, I'm back. Okay, how are you doing? Oh, come on guys. Give me some responses here. There's 7 of you, only 4 of you answered. Plant cells is correct. Okay, plant cells is correct. Plant cells have not only a cell membrane, they also have a cell wall around it. Animal cells don't have cell walls. Neither does an amoeba. And those are kind of squishy animal cells and amoebas. They need to be able to move and have a little bit more flexibility than a plant cell. So a plant cell can be rigid because they are more sedentary and they don't need to move around. So a cell wall is useful for a plant cell, but not an animal cell. Nice job, guys. Okay. How are cell membranes different from cell walls? Yep. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I just checked on the list.
I'm
So
having
he's on
trouble.
there, I just sent you some.
Oh, good, good. I'm glad. That's good. All right. Excellent. Good. All right. All right. All right. Come on, guys. Got 5. Let's get up there. How are they different? Cell membranes select what comes in and out. Cell walls are for structure and support. Is correct. Excellent job. Very nice job, guys. Okay. So cell membranes are key, right? They're like border guards, like the Canadian border guards. They're only letting certain people in and out of there, right? Cell walls are rigid, though. No one. Okay. Which arrow is pointing to the cell wall? So if you look, F is a thick inner layer. E is a thick outer layer. So which one, F or E, is the cell wall? F is the thin inner layer. E is the thick outer layer. You can do it, guys. It's in the corner of the screen. You should be able to see it.
Oh, I can't see on mine.
Okay. Well, you should see.
There it is. X, Y, Q, J. Oh. Oh, I didn't know you could see that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, you're on this. Oh. Sorry, I was just trying to help you out.
Okay. 7 of 9. Oh, 10. Yay, we got it. All right. Okay. Arrow E is right. That's it. Good one. Nice job. Okay. Next one. All right. The functions of the cell membrane. It helps the cell maintain homeostasis. It's also selectively permeable. Selectively permeable, those are big words. Selectively means that it can select, it can choose, right? It can choose. And permeable means stuff can go through it. Permeable means something's able to go through if something is permeable. But if you put selectively in front of that, it means that it can be picky and choosy about what goes through it. So now that I've explained it, can you repeat it back to me? What does selectively permeable mean? Cell membranes are selectively permeable. What does that mean? Can you come up with some good words for that? Beautiful. It selects what goes in and out. That's very nice. They can allow certain things to go in and out. Yes, some things can go in and out. It means only certain things can enter the cell through the membrane. That is beautiful. It means it chooses what goes in and out. Beautiful. You used my word, choose. It means what it selects what comes out or in. That's very nice. Selects what goes in and out, allows things to go in and out, and is very choosy about that. I love your efforts. That's beautiful, guys. You did a good job. I know when I leave it open-ended like that, that's hard, isn't it? You really dove in. Good for you. Okay. Now, what does homeostasis mean? This might, you have to pull from your memory a little bit for this one, but I know you learned it. I know you learned it in the 7th grade and probably even before that. I just want to see what you can guess on this one. Homeostasis. The cell membrane helps to maintain homeostasis inside the cell. What does that mean? What's a good word for homeostasis? It means you're maintaining something important. Let's see what she's tried. Equality, yeah, that's pretty good. That's close. Maintaining harmony, well, these are good guesses, guys. To maintain chemical conditions, that's good, close. That's a technical one. Stability is a good one. I think the word that I would have used would be balance. To maintain a balance, an internal balance. And I love this person's chemical conditions. So I would say maintaining a balance of internal chemical conditions is a really good way to describe what the cell membrane does. And stability is another way of kind of saying that. Maintaining a balance inside the cell. That's what homeostasis means. And homeostasis is one of those things that is a life characteristic. Right, okay. You can really get zen about that, but let's keep going. All right. So selectively permeable, I'm going to go past this one. All right. More cell membrane functions. It's also a barrier between the inside and outside of the cell. So it keeps toxins out or molecules that are not needed. It carries out cellular functions for the cell, believe it or not. It can actually not just transporting things in and out, but it also can receive and send messages to the inside of the cell. It can also help with cell recognition. That means it has chemical name tags on the outside of itself, so it can identify itself to other cells that are checking it out. And that's called cell recognition. So now, if you were listening to that last slide, which of these things doesn't belong? Which of these is not a function of the cell membrane? You guys are doing so well on this Tuesday morning. It's kind of a sleepy morning. It's gray outside, but we're maintaining our homeostasis. Okay. All right. So yes, the one thing that it can't do is see. That's very good. There's no ability for the cell membrane to store genetic information, right? So C is correct. Everything else is actually a function of the cell membrane. It can definitely transport food in. It can keep toxins out. It can receive signals, and it can allow cell-to-cell recognition. C is the only one that doesn't belong. There's no way for the cell membrane to store genetic information. Which part of the cell does that? That would be the DNA and the chromosomes that do that. And it's only the DNA that can store genetic information. Okay, so now let's go into the molecules making up the membrane. You know, it always comes back to chemistry, guys. We never get away from it. So this is a phospholipid. Now, we talked about these in biochemistry. This is a different representation of a phospholipid, so it's got sort of a solid space-filling structure for the atoms. You can see every hydrogen, and hydrogens are blue, and the carbons are black, and the reds are oxygens, and that yellow one is a phosphate group. And then they represent it more simply with these sort of little alien men with the legs, right? So a phospholipid consists of a head. They call it a polar head that has some carbons and hydrogens, but it has phosphate with lots of oxygens in it. And those are polar atoms. Phosphate and oxygens are going to be very polar. They're going to have some electrical charge. So part of the molecule likes water a lot. It's hydrophilic. It likes water. These long tails, though, are nothing but carbon and hydrogen. If you look at them, nothing but carbon and hydrogen. So they don't like water. They're hydrophobic. So now, if you put a whole bunch of these phospholipids, these little men with their legs, into if you just throw them into water, they naturally congregate like this. All their water-hating tails come together, the hydrophobic tails all come together, and the hydrophilic water-loving heads face out towards the water in two directions. So these are the heads that face out towards the solution the cell might be in. And then down here are the other sets of polar water-loving heads that are facing the inside cytoplasm of the cell. Okay, so now drag the dot to the hydrophobic region of this membrane. So remember, hydro means water, and phobic, if you have a phobia of something, you understand that means you have a fear of something. So phobic means fear. So hydrophobic means the part of these molecules that are afraid of water or don't like water. So where is your red dot going to go? Oh, come on, guys. This is a fun one. Where is your red dot going to go? We're looking for the water-fearing region. Yeah, in here, right in here is where we're going to go, right there. Those are all the hydrophobic tails. That's all this big, that's actually a big region in terms of molecular size. There's a big sandwich of molecules there that are hydrophobic, that are going to keep stuff out that is polar. That's a big barrier. Okay. Couple more things about the phospholipid bilayer, two layers of those little men with legs, okay? They allow molecules like oxygen and carbon dioxide to pass through easily, as long as they're small and nonpolar. Fluid mosaic model is a word you need to know because the phospholipids are actually not really attached to each other. They're just sort of attracted because of their water-loving and water-hating parts. So that's just something you need to know, that the membrane is a fluid thing. So small molecules like oxygen gas and carbon dioxide can move across the phospholipid bilayer easily. Is this true or false? Oxygen and carbon dioxide are small and nonpolar. Can they get through that hydrophobic layer or not? They can. Very good. Yes, the answer is true. They are both able to get through. They're small and nonpolar, so they can get through easily. Okay. Substances like water and Na+ ions can move across the phospholipid bilayer easily. Now, what do you think? Okay. All right. That is false. Good if you pick that. Okay. That's going to be false because water, by definition, those hydrophobic tails are afraid of water. So water cannot get through easily. Water needs a special channel, a special doorway just for water. And sodium, Na+, is small. It's true that it's small, but it has a charge on it. So charged ions, even though they're small, they really can't get through easily because the hydrophobic regions, they don't like stuff that have charges on them. Okay, next. Membrane proteins. So we've talked about the little yellow men with the legs, right? We talked about that part. We talked about this part here. But these big purple things, these are proteins. And if you look at them, they have different functions depending on their structure. But this one in particular, you can see that it would make a good transport protein because it has a hole all the way through it. And this one too might be a good transport protein. And maybe this one as well, maybe, but it may have needs in terms of being able to open, right? Okay. All right. A peripheral protein. There's another new word. Peripheral, think of your peripheral vision, right? Your peripheral vision is the vision that you have, like if you look straight ahead and you move your hands like this, you can just barely see your hands because they're edge. They're on the edge of your vision. So peripheral means edge. It means at the edges of things. So if you look at the blue pieces in this picture, some of these proteins are just on one side, like this one and this one. They're just on one side of the membrane, and they don't go all the way through it. So this one down here, I'm sorry, that presenting bar is in the way, but there's another one down here that's also a good peripheral protein because it doesn't go all the way up through. It's just on the edge. So these guys are on the edge of the membrane. They don't go all the way through it, so they're called peripheral proteins. Drag the dot to a peripheral protein. Come on, guys. Peripheral protein, a protein on the edge, one of the blue ones. One of the blue ones is only on the edge and not going all the way through. You could do it. Come on. One of the blue proteins that's a peripheral on the edge protein. Now those are going all the way through. Those aren't peripheral. Where are the ones that are just this? Somebody has one down here. That's good. That one down here is definitely peripheral. So is this one. It's just sitting on the top, right? It's on the edge. So that would be a peripheral, or this one, okay? But they're not. These are not peripheral proteins. Not at all. Okay. Integral is the opposite of peripheral. So if peripheral is on the edge, integral means it goes all the way through the phospholipid bilayer. So a lot of these are proteins that allow transport because they are like a doorway for larger molecules or molecules like water or ions that have charges on them, and it gives a doorway for those things to get into the cell that they would not be able to get through otherwise. So now drag the dot to an integral protein, a blue protein that goes all the way through the membrane layer, all the way through from top to bottom. Okay, let's see how you're doing. That's better. Now these guys, these are the integral proteins right here. They go all the way through. That's one, that's another one, that's good. This too, this is an integral protein, very good. It's a squiggly one, it's a weird one, but it's still integral. It goes all the way through. I'm not sure about that one because we can't see the rest of it. But I think definitely these three, this one and this one and this one are integral proteins. You can see that they're in contact with both the top and the bottom of the membrane. All right, good. Almost there, guys, almost done. Good. Drag the dot to a protein that looks like it would allow molecules to pass through it. Which of these proteins, blue again, would allow molecules to pass through it, to go through the membrane that otherwise would not be able to get through? Stuff like water and ions and maybe bigger molecules like glucose. Let's see how you did. Yes, that one. That's really the only one that has a channel that looks like it would be able to shepherd things right down the middle of it. Yeah. This squiggly one is not for transport. It's probably for signal reception and transduction. Okay, good. Very good. Next one. Okay, last few molecules that are in the cell membrane. Cholesterol, believe it or not, you probably hear cholesterol and you think, oh, isn't that what's bad for your arteries and it causes heart attacks? And you would be right. When cholesterol is found, when you eat it in your food, because you do have some food that has fats in it that can be converted to it, and it gets into your bloodstream, then yes, it can be dangerous because it can cause clogs and things like that. But the normal function of cholesterol is to actually be part of the cell membrane right here and right here. These are cholesterol molecules, and because they are made of lipid, they can hang out with those hydrophobic tails with no problem, because they're just as hydrophobic and nonpolar as the hydrophobic tails of the phospholipids. So they hang out in there and they kind of keep things together. They keep things stable. The other one is the carbohydrate chains. And carbohydrate chains are these chains that look like antenna, look like little antenna on an insect. And what they are is they're like name tags. They're like, you're going to a party and you got your carbohydrate chain name tag. And it lets everybody know that you are part of the body, that you don't need to be eaten, basically. That's what that means. If you think of it in terms of all your human cells that are part of you have these special carbohydrate chain name tags. And when an immune cell comes along, right, like one of your white blood cells is coming to make sure that you belong there, that you're not some dangerous bacteria trying to invade, and it finds that chain and it says, oh, you're cool, dude. Good. We're going to leave you alone. All right. So that's what the carbohydrate chain does in the cell membrane. Now, again, a point of confusion, isn't it? Because carbohydrates, we learned that carbohydrates are good to eat and they're good for energy, right? And that's true. If they're free in the bloodstream and they're going into the cells and the cells are digesting them, that's true. But these particular carbohydrate chains have a different function. Sometimes these molecules that have the same names have different functions depending on where they're located. Almost done, guys. Okay. Drag the dot to a cholesterol molecule. Remember, a cholesterol molecule is it's a lipid, it's non-polar, so it can hang out in the hydrophobic regions of the membrane. It can hang out with those hydrophobic regions and keep everything together, keep it stable. Okay. I can see 2 cholesterol molecules in this picture. Only 2. So there's 2 correct answers here.
Ms. Murdoch, we're in here just listening for the last little bit since we just finished up.
Awesome. That's good. It's always good to be again. We're almost done. Almost done. Okay. All right. Yes. Oh, you guys are so good. They're right here. There's a cholesterol hanging out with the hydrophobic tails, keeping everything together. And over here is another one. That's very good. That's a hydrophobic tail hanging out with that's cholesterol, keeping things stable. This is a cholesterol. That's a carbohydrate chain. These 2 things here are carbohydrate chains. So those are not cholesterol molecules. So that is not correct. Okay, next one. Almost there. All right, what's the cholesterol function in the cell membrane? These guys that you just identified, right here and right here. What is their function? What are they doing in there with all those phospholipid tails? What are they doing in there? Guys, you're not answering the question. Just, it's okay. I'm not grading you on whether you get it right or wrong. There's no pressure here. Just try. Just want you to try, okay? What is a cholesterol doing in there? Hanging out with those tails. Must be a reason. This one, B is correct. B is correct, guys. Very good. It's making the lipid layer stable. That's what it's doing. It's hanging out with those hydrophobic tails, and it's making it stable. Very good. Okay. Let's go to the next one. We're almost done. Okay, now pick the carbohydrate chain. There's a lot of options here. There's also some that are not correct, so only go for the carbohydrate chain. Which one of those things are carbohydrate chains? I can see 4, 5 actually that you could pick. There's a lot of options here that would be correct. Yes, very good. This is one here. Here's another one there. There's one there. Good. Not here. These aren't right. Okay. This is one and this is one. Those are right. Those 3 are right. This is also one. Remember, these guys are name tags, so they're sticking up on the surface like name tags, identity tags, telling anybody that comes along, hey, don't eat us. This is a good cell. This is part of the body. Leave us alone, right? All right. Pick the function, and we're all done. What are those carbohydrate chains doing? I just told you the answer. Go for it. What is the function of carbohydrates when they're attached to a cell membrane like this? Come on, guys. Give it a try.
Oh, pay attention to this one, guys. Some of it's wrong.
It's an identity name tag. Very good. Thank you for listening. C is correct. Identity name. Remember it. When carbohydrates are located in the cytoplasm, floating around, or when they're coming in the esophagus and the stomach for food, then you've got quick energy for the cell. Yes, but these carbohydrates are special. When they're connected to the cell membrane like that, they're like an identity name tag for the cell. Okay, and that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. That was awesome, guys. You did a great job. Don't log out yet because I still have to put your names down.